Yes, good evening. My name is Heike Dempster. I'm the Director of Engagement and Outreach at YoungArts. My pronouns are she, her. The YoungArts campus is situated on the traditional homeland of Native nations, including the Tequesta, the Calusa, the Taino, and today the Miccosukee and the Seminole. We pay our respect to the elders, past, present, and future, and recognize their continued existence and contributions to our community. Thank you for joining us this evening for this info session about the YoungArts National Competition. YoungArts identifies exceptional young artists, amplifies their potential, and invests in their lifelong creative freedom. And the YoungArts experience begins with the competition. We want to encourage all artists aged 15 to 18 or in grades 10 to 12 to apply to YoungArts. And once selected, all award winners are offered a lifetime of artistic support and ongoing connections with a network of peers and mentors. Before we begin the session, I have a few quick housekeeping notes. The session is being recorded so that we can share some of the conversation we're having this evening. We encourage you to ask questions and participate. Before doing so, please change your name to first name only, just so we can protect your privacy. Same if you ask a question in person. You can raise your hand at any time. You can use the chat at any time, and we will make sure to get to all those questions later today. It is now my pleasure to welcome my wonderful colleague, Nidra Ward, Associate Director of Winner Programs at YoungArts, and also Diana Eusebio, 2016 YoungArts winner in design and US Presidential Scholar in the Arts. Diana is a multidisciplinary artist. Informed by her career as a fashion designer, her photography and wearable pieces center the body, fashion, and styling as tools for visual storytelling. A first-generation American born and raised in Miami, at the intersection of Peruvian Dominican heritage and Black Latino indigenous culture, her work preserves diasporic stories and prompts honest conversations around inclusion, love, and solidarity. Institutional exhibitions include the Museum of Modern Art in New York, the Hall of Nations in Washington, D.C., and the Rubel Museum in Miami. Studio residencies include Anderson Ranch Art Center in Aspen, Colorado, Oolite Arts in Miami, Florida, Deering Estate in Miami, Florida, and Red Hook Art Labs in New York. Eusebio holds a BFA in Fiber and Photography from the Maryland Institute College of Art. So now it's my pleasure to pass on the mic to Nidra Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Heike. Hello, everyone. My name is Nidra Ward, Associate Director of Winter Programs at YoungArts. Thank you all for being here. Parents play a major role when it comes to encouraging young artists to pursue a life in the arts, supporting their dreams, and guiding them along the way. This evening, our goal is to provide you with all the key information about the competition and give you a better grasp on the resources available to you as you both take on this creative journey. Please make sure to type your questions in the chat. We have set aside times throughout where we will be answering them. And also please refrain from sending messages directly to presenters, as there are dedicated staff members monitoring the chat for us so that we can keep the session flowing properly. I'm going to talk a little bit about the competition. First, we accept applications in 10 disciplines. That is classical music, dance, design, film, jazz, photography, theater, visual arts, voice, and writing. The application opened on June 12th and closes on October 13th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. That's 8:59 p.m. Pacific. To be eligible to apply, you must be between the ages of 15 to 18 or in grades 10 through 12 on December 1st of 2023. If you are one or the other, you're still eligible to apply. If you're both, you're absolutely eligible to apply. The other eligibility requirement is that you must be a U.S. citizen or U.S. permanent resident or legally able to receive taxable income in the U.S. The application is quite simple. You will visit our website at www.youngarts.org to review the requirements for the discipline and category that you are applying in, and also to access and begin your application. There's also a list of FAQs to help along the way. The application is hosted on a platform called Kaleidoscope. This is a new platform to us this year. And so just want to make sure that you understand that when you do click into the application, it will take you to a completely different site. Once on Kaleidoscope, you will click Begin to start your main application. The main application contains questions about contact, eligibility, parent and education information. And there is also where you will select any and all of the disciplines that you wish to apply in. Once that main application is submitted, applicants will be automatically redirected to their discipline tiles to further select a specific category or categories, and also to upload their materials. Please note that applications are incomplete until all questions have been answered, media has been uploaded, and the application fee is either paid or waived. The adjudication process begins immediately after the application closes on October 13th. It is roughly about a month long. We have 3 rounds. First 2 rounds are remote, and the 3rd round is where the panel comes to Miami to adjudicate and deliberate together and establish winners. We have 2 new award level names for this year, previously known as the other levels that we've had. The first level is Young Arts Award winner with distinction. And those are the winners who are invited to participate in National Young Arts Week, and I will get to that a little bit later on. But all winners are winners. All levels are winners, Young Arts Award winners. The winners will be announced by the end of November, and will be posted to our website, and everyone will receive an email notification notifying you of your winning designation. I know there's a lot of information and I kind of stumbled a little bit, so I'm going to pause for some questions. If there aren't any,
I think I saw a question in the chat. There's a couple of them.
all right, they're coming in now.
Hi, I wasn't sure if we were supposed to put it in the chat or just ask. How many winners in each discipline?
So there is only a cap for the winners of distinction who are invited to participate in National Young Arts Week. The rest of the winners there is no cap. Roughly we have around 700 every year annually, and around 150 of the winners with distinction. Can you apply in more than one area? Yes, you can apply in as many disciplines and categories as you'd like. There is a $35 application fee for each one that you apply in, or there are also fee waivers available if you are unable to pay that fee. And to obtain a fee waiver, you would simply upload a letter into your application stating that you are unable to pay your fee, preferably from a teacher or a parent, or if you are 18 or older, you would submit it yourself. And then your application fee is automatically waived within the platform. Is there going to be a replay of what you covered? This is recorded, so we will share this after the night ends, and it will be available to everybody who missed or wants to review it. Can you apply more than once for one category? So no, you can apply in as many different categories as you'd like, but each application is one per category. How many are invited to National Young Arts Week? So there's roughly 150 each year that are invited. Are applicants addressed as winners, or is this forum for winners of specific competitions? So this is the competition session to get information on how to apply to potentially become a Young Arts winner. An applicant is addressed as a winner once they become a winner after the adjudication process ends. How many applicants did you get typically per year? So in the past few years, we've had around 7,000, a little more than 7,000. If an applicant resides in Canada but has US citizenship, can they apply and eligible for award? Yes, so you must be a US citizen. No matter where you're living, as long as you are a US citizen, yes, you can apply. What are the 2 additional awards this year? So they're not additional awards. We have changed the name of the awards. So everyone who is named a winner is a Young Arts winner. And then those who are invited to participate in National Young Arts Week are called winners with distinction. Do you need a letter of recommendation? No, you do not. This is solely artistic based. So everything that you submit in your application is blind with the exception of your materials specific to the requirements. Can you explain again for the distinction awards and the timeline for the competition? So I don't want to repeat. I kind of want to get to the answers to the questions that haven't been answered yet. But yes, everyone is an award winner, and then there is an award winner with distinction that is invited to Young Arts Week. That is the top level. Can you apply in both junior and senior year? So as long as you are still eligible to apply, you can apply in as many years as you'd like. Anyone who is invited to participate in National Young Arts Week and participates cannot reapply. But if you win at the other level, you are eligible to reapply as long as you meet those grade or age requirement.
Good
That
evening.
answers the next one.
Good
What is Young
evening.
Arts Week? So, sorry, someone speaking?
Yes, Marie Dowling.
Hi, what is your question?
I was just coming to say hello. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, hi. Now I lost my train here. When is Young Arts Week? So Young Arts Week is held in January in Miami annually. Is there a portfolio category? So we have visual arts, design, and photography that all require portfolios to submit. Younger than 15 years old participate. So yes, as long as you meet the grade requirement. So if you are 14, but you are in 10th grade, you may apply. So it's either or, either you meet the age or the grade requirement. Where may we ask for clarification about required repertoire? So all of the requirements are up on our website. We also have FAQs. And if you have any further questions after that, you can submit your questions to apply@youngarts.org, and I will get into that and repeat that again later on. I paid $35 for the general application before going to Kaleidoscope. So there is another fee for completing each discipline. It's a bit confusing with the new process. So no, you would only apply for, you would only pay for $35 per application, per discipline category that you're applying in. So you would only pay the one for each one that you're applying. If you are having technical issues with the platform, there is a little help button at the bottom of each page, and you could just click on that and go straight to Kaleidoscope to help you out with technical issues. It's just the application video that will be used for the 3 rounds of scrutiny. Yes, it is the same application that will go through each of the rounds. If you're a winner but not invited to Miami, can you apply and potentially be a winner of distinction in the future? Yes, absolutely. As long as you are still eligible, meaning within the grade or age requirements, you can apply as many times as you like, as long as you have not participated in National Young Arts Week. Do you select winners in every category? No, not necessarily. There are winners selected in every discipline. But there are occasionally times where a category is not designated as a winner. Okay, I am going to close out this question session for right now and pass it over to Diana.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diana, and I'm here today to give you guys a little look at my application and any tips that I have. So I'm an artist and designer to begin with, but I actually was a 2016 Young Arts winner and a presidential scholar in the arts and design arts. So I'm going to share my screen now and show you guys my work and just some tips on what kind of things that I applied with, and to give you guys a better idea of what Young Arts Week kind of looks like from a student's perspective or a past alumni. So yes, Heike introduced me earlier. Thank you, Heike, for that introduction. But my work is a merge of art and design. I merge fashion and textiles with photography and work in natural dyes, specifically plants that come from, that are native to South Florida, since that's where my family is from, native to Latin America, that's also where my family is from. So you can see I'm in my studio now and I have some Spanish moss and a lot of the things that I use in my art around me. But let's just get right into it, and I can show you guys some of actual images from my application. Don't ask me how I found these. But I just so happen to have them, and I was like, what a better way to explain kind of like what, at least what I applied with, but you know, it varies from discipline to discipline, and every year on the actual jury that is looking at the applications. But here you can see that I had a mix of different things. So I had my fashion work also mixed with some jewelry design work and a lot of process images that showed like snippets of my sketchbook, thoughts that I had, sketches, swatches of materials that I was working with. I had bark that I was making boots out of, so I had bark in there, and I was explaining how the earrings would hold water and be able to grow plants while you're wearing it on the body. And I actually decided to create a portfolio specific to Young Art for this Young Arts application, because I felt that I was creating garments, and I had a background in fashion design at the time as a high school student, but I wanted to create something that was a little bit more outside of the box and worked with coconut tree bark and these materials that are a little bit less common. And so I had fun with it. I was true to myself, and that's the advice that I give students when applying to Young Arts, is to really just stay true to themselves and show a little bit of everything that you enjoy doing, and also the behind the scenes. Don't be scared to show some process. So in this slide, you can see like a little a zoomed in image of one of the sketchbook pages, and it shows like I was explaining the jewelry. It shows it kind of on the figure, since a lot of these things that I was making, the designs were maybe a sample of something that could be created down the line. I wanted to show it, collage it onto the body and show kind of an idea of it. It doesn't matter if it's not fully fleshed out and fully, you know, realized in this world. Since I was a high school student, I think it's understandable to have grand ideas, but be able to at least communicate them is what matters. So these are images from my Young Arts Week in 2016. So you see here a few of the students in the design arts category. It's a small group of students, all coming from different parts of the country. There's a small image at the top in the center of one of the students with the discipline coordinator at the time. There's RAs, and it's a great time. You know, you create something new during the week. Oftentimes it varies from year to year, or in our case, I made this this wearable piece that was on display in the gallery after Young Arts Week was done, and so it's an eventful week. It's full of a lot of inspiration, a lot of connections that I still have to this day. And then I was selected to become a presidential scholar in the arts, which was such an honor. I showed my work. You can see on the right-hand side, it's a garment that I showed in the Hall of Nations at the Kennedy Center. And Young Arts chooses a group of students from different disciplines. So I was the only one in design arts. There were a couple people from visual arts. And then I saw all these amazing performances by all of the performing artists, and it really opens your eyes, I think, to, for me at least, it opened my eyes to the amount of talent that, you know, other students have, and then it kind of gets you reflecting on, maybe I have that same talent in my field, you know. It kind of like it validates a lot of these ideas, and this passion that I had for what I was making. It just made me feel a sense of belonging, I think. So this, you could see how the exhibition was set up at the time, the Kennedy Center. But then I have a few slides that just show some of the work that came afterwards. I think that Young Arts is such a great opportunity because you get to connect with people and have a week of all of this magic where you're meeting people and showing work and making work. But then afterwards, I think people don't realize that Young Arts has such an impact on you for so many more years down the line. So, I mean, to this day, I still work with Young Arts on different things, or they support my career in different ways. And so when I was immediately coming out of Young Arts, I went to college at the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore. As a U.S. Presidential Scholar winner, I had award money that came from that award, and it allowed me to explore and create in ways that maybe I couldn't have without that funding. This collection here was created in my freshman year of college. So I created this in collaboration with another student, and it is some of the early work that I made. And then I'm reflecting on this piece here that I created last year and how it kind of parallels some of the work that I was creating back then. So it does have an impact on you that lasts a long time. Then we have also these headpieces that I created last year that kind of mimic the same headpiece and masks that were on the runway when I was a freshman in college. And just an installation view of how these headpieces were displayed, this collaboration with a fellow Young Arts winner, Cornelius Tella. And you see how that also, that's an example, I guess, of how a connection can last for such a long time. You know, we met in high school, we met during Young Art, or we met in high school, but then we were both Young Arts winners and continue to collaborate to this day. Some more textile work, you see my photography kind of, it starts to dip into fabric and textiles, and it merges the two. And this is currently a lot of in progress shots of me working here, actually in my studio on my table right there. So yeah, these are just images of the things that I'm making now. And a lot of the work that I think still ties to that portfolio I showed you guys that I submitted to Young Arts with all of the natural materials that I was working with. It was something that I really enjoyed at the time. And then I think I'm making my way back into incorporating those same materials now, which is super exciting. Putting together this presentation was an eye-opener. And now I even do workshops with children community, with different schools, different arts organizations, teaching them how to use these techniques. And a little, you can see a little bit of that here too. And that is all. So thank you guys. I hope that this gave you guys some context and some visuals around what Young Arts Week is like and how it can impact the students down the line. And if there's any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Diana. Yeah, if there are any questions for her.
I was wondering something. 1 second. Hello? this is the girl speaking, Marie Dowling. I was wondering, do you mind if I call you Miss Diana or Miss E?
You could call me either. That's fine. Miss Diana's
Okay,
fine.
Miss Diana, I was wondering that maybe what inspired you to do art, or how long have you done it for?
Oh, so I actually started doing art at a very very young age. So I started doing art when I was in elementary school. And so for me, it was something that I was doing at different magnet schools leading up to the high school that I was at when I applied to Young Arts. So I'm from Miami, so there's a lot of different magnet art programs here, and I'm very grateful to have been able to participate in those programs.
I've been doing art since I was like 5.
Nice.
And it's basically been a childhood thing for me.
Great. I hope that you apply, and thank you for asking your question.
You're welcome. I'm just excited to do this National Young Arts thing and prayfully to win and help out my friends and family. It was my aunt who got me into this.
All right, thank you. Is there any other questions?
I had a question. Hi, I wanted to know how long it took you to prepare your application. Like, was it months or years, or like how long did it take for you to assemble the package to apply?
So the actual application, all of the images that you saw in the presentation, I, believe it or not, did that in 2 weeks before the application. This is not me recommending that we do this last minute or you wait 2 weeks before the deadline. I definitely don't think that added stress is needed. So if you can apply early and get started earlier, it's the better. But the reason I did that was because I felt like I had this idea that was something I felt I needed to apply with, and I went ahead and I made it in that time span. But prior to that, I was doing, like I explained, different art programs and going to school and doing art. So yeah, I guess it led up to that. A lot of years of schooling led up to that too.
It was in the visual, you applied in the visual arts?
I applied in design arts.
Design arts, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
There are a few more questions in the chat. Diana, can you see them, or should someone read them out?
I can look for them here. I see one from Maria. Having had the experience, what would you do differently? Did you apply more than once? Having had the experience, let's see. I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I think that reflecting on the experience, I think that everything happened exactly how it was supposed to. And I did not apply more than once. I only applied one time, and to the design arts category. Maybe I would have applied to visual arts as well. But I'm happy that I applied to design arts. I think that's what I wanted to focus on at the time. And then I see another question. In addition to the portfolio, what else was included as part of your application? So there's writing, of course. There's the visual images of your work, the portfolio component. And I think maybe Nidra can give me a little bit. Could you give me a little bit more?
Yeah, so it's the portfolio and just the details of each of the images, and also the artist statement. And this year, the panel decided to offer an optional video upload of the process as well. So that's new for design this year.
That's great. Yeah. I think it's changed since I applied, but yeah, those are the main things: images and writing, and now video. All right, so next question. Will you review all applications together or as they come in? This might also be a question.
For me. So no, the application closes on October 13th at 11:59, and immediately after that is when the adjudication process starts. So everything is adjudicated together in the first round, and then there are 2 more rounds following that. So everything is done together.
Okay, and then let's see. There are some other questions that seem like they're knee-jerk questions.
Yeah,
but
I am getting them. If you see any just for you, go
I do
ahead.
see, I think I see one for me, and then maybe I'll pass it on to Nidra. But this one I see is design arts the only discipline where you're able to show the processes behind your work? This can maybe
Yeah, to show it, yes. However, in visual arts, it's also part of the artist statement to answer specific questions about process. So to show it, it is only in design, but to explain it is also in visual arts.
I think that's it for me. Yeah, there's a couple questions there.
Okay. Thank you, Diana, so much. It's a pleasure having you, as always. And I will go to a couple more questions that I see came in before I go on to the next step, which is why apply? And we will answer some more questions after that. So are all winners qualified for Presidential Scholars Award, or is it just the winners with distinction? So it is the winners with distinctions who participate in National Young Arts Week. So during National Young Arts Week is where PSA nominations are determined. So yes, a winner of distinction, yes, but you also must attend National Young Arts Week. Do students who are in a performing arts high school have much of a chance? I've noticed most are in performing arts high schools. So the application portion that has all identifying information, your name, your education, all of that is not ever seen by the judges. The judges are only adjudicating the materials that you submit and upload into the application. So they don't know whether you're going to a performing arts high school or not. So there is no real way for them to say this person went to a performing arts school and we're going to award that. So to answer your question, yes, if you are not attending a performing arts high school, that is totally fine. And the judges will not know what school you're attending. If an application is submitted early, can you amend the application? Yes. So with this new platform called Kaleidoscope, you can edit your application even after it's submitted. You can edit it up until the deadline. If you just go log back into Kaleidoscope and click on your application, you are able to edit it and then resubmit. Just make sure you do it before the deadline. How is feedback given to applicants? So feedback is given to applicants who make it to that final round where the panel comes together to adjudicate, but is not awarded and is in grades 10, 11, or 10 or 11. So feedback is given to a select number of applicants who do not get awarded, but are eligible to reapply the following year. And that feedback is tailored directly from the judges and will be sent out to those applicants in February, I believe is when it's sent, comes. So I am going to pause the questions now and go back to some more information. And so I know there were some Presidential Scholar in the Arts questions. So again, you must be a winner of distinction and also participate in National Young Arts Week. To be eligible for Presidential Scholars in the Arts, you have to be a senior graduating in that year that you are attending National Young Arts Week. And during that week, you will go through interviews and other things with the panel so that they can make their determinations on nominations at the end of that week. There are 60 nominees that we are allowed to submit to Presidential Scholars, and they must also have a GPA of 3.25 or higher in order to be considered. Another thing that is a major reason to apply is our SLS program, which is a scholarship list service. And I will hand it off to Heike to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, hold on one second. I need to turn on my camera, right? Hello again. Yes, so we do have an SLS program, which is our student list service. This is a collaboration between a lot of universities, colleges, and conservatories who know and trust that Young Arts has quality applicants and participants and winners. So once a student or an applicant opts into the student list service, so there is a question on the application and you have to opt into it. Once you do, that gives the universities and colleges and conservatories we work with the opportunity to connect and offer scholarships or partial scholarships to applicants and Young Arts winners. So they receive the applicant list, they receive the contact information for the winners and also the Presidential Scholar, US Presidential Scholar in the Arts nominees and recipients. And then they will determine if and who they offer scholarships to. But it's a really phenomenal opportunity, and a lot of applicants and winners receive great options for schools they want to attend. And the schools are really selected and connected with based on research we do on which schools are really desirable to Young Arts applicants and winners. Like, for example, where Diana went to, Micah is certainly one of the schools who gives a lot of scholarships specifically to Young Arts winners. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to connect with us and reach out anytime.
Thank you, Heike. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about monetary awards. So being named a Young Arts winner is cash included. That means that award is cash in your pocket. It is not restricted to be used for school or anything like that. It is actual check in your name that is sent out to you. Young Arts Award winners receive a monetary award of at least $250. And then Young Arts Award winners with distinction who are invited to participate in National Young Arts Week can receive anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 once they participate in the program. And now I'll talk a little bit about the program. So we've said a lot about National Young Arts Week. That is a program that is, again, for Young Arts winners with distinction, and it is held in January annually. The dates for the 2024 National Young Arts Week is January 7th to 14th. Voice and classical music winners arrive a day prior to that, but those are the dates for this upcoming National Young Arts Week. Another current winter program that we have in place is called Young Arts Interdisciplinary Labs. And this year we held our first lab in Miami, and it was a huge success. And we will be adding New York and LA next year. Those dates are going to be determined very, very soon, confirmed very, very soon. But they will be likely in February and April of next year, LA in February and New York in April. In addition to that, it's not just your winning year. You can go on to have residencies, fellowships, and mentorships, microgrants that happen every month. Those are all the opportunities that are available exclusively to Young Arts winners. And all of those opportunities are available on our platform called Young Arts Post. So if you are a winner and if you become a winner, we strongly encourage you to sign up for Young Arts Post, because that is where you will find anything and everything available to you exclusively as a Young Arts winner. And also on that platform is a huge community. We have 28,000 plus alumni from this competition, and everyone is just part of this really great community with all of these opportunities available to you. And as Diana mentioned, not just meeting during Young Arts Week, but using Young Arts Post to connect with other fellow winners is also really, really important. So I'm going to pause again and go back to some questions. Is there any animation or digital art subcategories under visual arts? So visual arts does include digital art. Animation is really under the film discipline, because visual arts is stills. So animation is usually under film. Do the judges know the ages of the participants? So no, again, all of your identifying information, your age, your school, your parents, your contact information, none of that is shown to the judges. It is only your materials that you uploaded to meet the requirements. So the judges don't know your age, your name, what school you went to, what grade you're in. They don't know any of those things. It is completely blind. One of the requirements for classical music submissions is do not submit pre-recorded live performances such as recitals, concerts, etc. What exactly does that mean? If you're performing a piece at a solo recital, does that mean you cannot use it if it meets the other requirements? So what we mean by live performances is if there's an audience, if there's other people on stage, if there are distracting things going on, if you can hear other people. So the competition is solo, meaning that you are presenting yourself on camera. And if you have an accompanist, that's one thing, but it is supposed to be only you and only you that we are looking at and hearing. So if any of those things are in the way and distracting of your performance in that video, then you should not submit it. In the photography section, do the subjects need to provide permission to be photographed? So not for the competition. If you are a winner and you exhibit your work in an exhibition, then that is a different story. But for the competition itself, you do not have to have permission. Is preference given to 12th graders who will not have an opportunity to apply again? No, again, judges have no idea what grade you're in. They don't know how old you are. They know none of that information. So preference is not given to any specific age, grade, or school that you're attending. Let me go to some hand raises here. I see Lynn.
Hi, thank you. I also had a question in the chat. My understanding is that the National Young Arts Week is required for in-person for the interviews for the presidential. There's a travel ban to Florida for people who are transgender. It's illegal to go to the bathroom. So I was wondering how you're planning on addressing that and what kind of accommodations and flexibility I think that's a reality. There's a lot of creative kids who are transgender. I'm the parent of a kid who really wants to apply and quite honestly would forego, it would be problematic if they were awarded that and literally there's a travel ban to Florida. So then would not be eligible for the presidential award and so on. So I was wondering if there's been some thought of how to have transgender students participate safely.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we are obviously very aware and taking all of those things into consideration. I cannot tell you right at this moment what that exact plan would be, but I can tell you that we have done this program in a remote virtual setting. So we would absolutely make as many accommodations as possible. The only time that a person would absolutely not be allowed to attend is if they were ill or something to that effect. But we absolutely take all of those into consideration and we will establish a plan as we get closer. Is there another hand raised, Marie?
Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering, to those who aren't going to be able to like go physically to Miami, Florida, is there a way that we can get like a Zoom link for us to go to the National Arts Week virtually? Because not all of us are having parents on the biggest budget. Just
that was actually what I was just trying to say, is that we will make as many accommodations as we possibly can to make sure that everyone is able to participate in the program. And we have done it virtually when we were in COVID and in quarantine. We have done it virtually before. So again, we will have a plan as we get closer to the dates of the program and once winners are announced.
Okay. And I'm gonna need your assistance on filling out this application, please. after the meeting?
Sure, you can send any of your questions to apply@youngarts.org or give us a call too. We are available by phone as well.
Okay, thank you.
Heike, there's one sort of for you. If a non-junior or senior opts into the SLS, can they stay on that list until they are college ready?
Sorry, it took me a moment to get off the mic off. Yes, absolutely. So yes, you should absolutely opt in if you are a junior and you want to be considered for any scholarships.
Great.
Also, sorry for the
go ahead.
question before, because it sounded like the question was also if a concern over the cost. So just to clarify again, that there's no cost for attending National Young Arts Week to the winners or their parents, because it sounded like there was a concern with someone's parents not being able to afford that. So that is not a concern. There's no cost associated with it, just to clarify that again.
Yes, it is all expenses paid for Young Arts Week, and also the labs for any of the current programs. It's all expenses paid, so there is no cost to the participant. I'm a junior. Can I still apply for presidential scholars? So again, you would have to be named a winner of distinction and attend National Young Arts Week. If you do attend National Young Arts Week as a junior, you will be considered and get to reapply again for consideration for presidential scholars during your senior year. So what happens is during your senior year, we would reach out to you and offer you to apply directly for presidential scholars. Can we upload a video of process for singing? So for the voice discipline, you would just submit the requirements that are asked, which is for songs performed by you for pop, jazz, classical, and then singer-songwriter requires 3. With no videos allowed, is motion design a consideration for visual arts? So visual arts also has an optional video available if you would like to submit, but the portfolio would be of stills. If I went to Young Arts Week 1 year prior for one art category, I won't be eligible to enter Young Arts competition following year for another art category. That is correct. So once you have participated in National Young Arts Week, you are no longer eligible to reapply. Is there any category that covers instrumental or alternative music besides jazz or classical? At this time, jazz or classical that we have available. There is also singer-songwriter, which has the different genres that you are eligible to apply in. But right now, as far as instrumental goes, it is jazz and classical. If a junior is selected as a winner with distinction, will they be nominated for a presidential scholar in their senior year? Yes, as I just explained. If you attend National Young Arts Week as a junior or a 10th grader, you would be considered and invited to apply in your senior year. Once you turn a senior, we would reach out to you so that you can further apply. Are the labs for all winners or just winners with distinction? So winners with distinction is National Young Arts Week, and then the labs are for all winners. However, winners without distinction have preference for the labs.
I'm confused about the winners with labs. What does that mean?
So it is the Young Arts interdisciplinary labs are programs for winners in their current year. So we have a program in February in LA and a program in April for New York, and all winners are invited to participate and sign up for that.
I think so. could you please tell the difference between the first set of winners and the lab winners, please?
Yes.
I'm
so
still confused.
The winners with distinction is invited to participate in National Young Arts Week. That is the top level, and that is where they are further adjudicated and also considered for presidential scholars.
Okay, and the second one?
They are just Young Arts winners, and they are also invited to participate in the lab, interdisciplinary labs in February or April.
Thank you, that makes much more sense.
Okay. Is it beneficial for a sophomore to submit this year for the experience, or do you recommend waiting until your junior or senior year? That is completely up to the applicant. You can certainly apply as a sophomore, junior, or senior. It is completely up to you. And again, if you are eligible, you can reapply multiple years as long as you have not participated in National Young Arts Week. Will writing winners with distinction perform the entirety of their work? So during Young Arts Week, you will be performing one of the pieces that you submitted to the competition. And for writer specifically, it is a 2-minute excerpt that is performed at the writers' readings that are held on Friday of the week. For singer-songwriter discipline, can you choose your own genre? Yes. So there are multiple genres available for you to choose from, and you can choose your own. Yes, absolutely. What is the duration for the labs? So the labs are a 3-day program. Again, dates will be announced, will be shared soon, but the one for LA is held in February, and the one for New York is held in April. But they are a 3-day program. Can a senior who just graduated but is going to take a gap year apply? As long as you meet the age requirement, yes, you can apply. So it's either the grade or the age. How many people win presidential scholars each year? So presidential scholars in the arts, Young Arts will name 60, will nominate 60, and then they will be further adjudicated from the Department of Education to have 20 arts scholars. The total for presidential scholars for academic as well is 161. Are expenses paid for the labs? Yes. National Young Arts Week and the labs, they are all expenses paid. There is no cost to the participant. I see Vicky.
Hi, I have a question about the attending the National Young Arts Week in Florida. If my child gets selected to be one of the 150 winners. So if he gets selected, he has a choice of attending or not attending. Do I understand correctly?
You can choose to not attend, or if you're unable to attend, yes.
Sure, but once he does attend, he cannot reapply the following year, right?
Correct.
And I think what I'm confusing with is he's not a senior, he's a sophomore. So if he does elect to attend the Young Arts Week, when I think you had explained something about because he's not a senior, if he's going to be considered for U.S. presidential scholar, then he will be contacted again near senior year.
Yes,
so
that's correct.
Right. So once he attends the National Young Arts Week, how soon does he find out if he's going to be invited back to reapply? Is that soon after?
It would be during his senior year.
Right, but as a sophomore now, will he find out now whether he will be invited?
Sorry, I think you cut off. So if you attend National Young Arts Week as an underclassman, during your senior year, you will receive a notification from us to apply for presidential scholars.
I see, but he's not going to find out now. What I'm trying to get at is like, will he have an opportunity to reapply in junior year after this year? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So I just want to make it clear, Presidential Scholars is completely separate from Young Arts.
I
It is
see.
a pathway. It is a pathway to be named a Presidential Scholar in the Arts. So if he
Okay.
attends in a sophomore or junior year to National Young Arts Week, he will then be considered to be nominated for Presidential Scholars in his senior year, and he'll receive a notification from us on the process for applying.
I see. I get it now. Thank you. Thank you for
Sure, you're
clarifying.
welcome. Perfect. So we're coming to a close here. Thank you all so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing your Young Artist application. If other questions come to you or if they didn't get answered in this session, please feel free to visit our website for FAQs and also the requirements. And also you can email apply@youngarts.org for any application questions or competition questions. Again, that's apply@youngarts.org.
And if I may add, we also have info sessions for a lot of specific disciplines and categories coming up. So if you have additional questions that are very specific to a discipline or category, please feel free to join them so we get into more detail that's very highly specific.
And all of those, as is this, will be recorded and shared.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Hi. So, what is the phone number to talk to you by, or can I just use the website? Because I was wondering if a freshman can sign the kaleidoscope, please correct me if I said it wrong, application.
So signing the application is not based on your grade, it's based on your age. So if you're 18, you can sign it yourself. If you are a minor, then you would have to have a parent sign.
15. That's my age. Mine.
Right. So a minor would have to have a parent signature, yes.
Okay.
Will this video be posted on YouTube?
I don't know if, do I have any comms people left?
I am here. Yes, it will be posted on YouTube. It may take us a couple days just to clean it up and edit it, but we'll share the recording with anybody who's on the email list from your registration for the session.
You were
Got it.
asking
Thank you.
for comms for people who are still on here?
All right. I
Thank you.
think we're actually going to end this call, but if anyone has any more questions, you can email apply@youngarts.org, or if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of youngarts.org, you'll find the phone number that you can call to get more information, and also plenty of information available at youngarts.org /apply. So have a great night.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.